finally figuring it all out. It's been a long time coming. Been a lot of things just praying about, figuring out. I just took out this, changed out this little candle lantern. If you guys know the Yuko candle lanterns, kind of just shook the thing right in there. This is the Candelaria. I think that's how you say it. But anyway, back to what I was trying to get to. I guess welcome is in order for my first video for the High Desert Nomad YouTube. Why even do it? There's way more than enough, you know, YouTube's out there and all that stuff. I don't know, maybe I just need to get my ideas out, my frustrations out, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. But I love this state. I do. The High Desert Nomad is located in California, the high desert of California to be exact. So I guess I don't even know. As long as I've been up in, I've been born and raised in California my whole life. I've seen other places, been a lot of places around the world, all that, and I love the state. I do. Now, with that being said, I know there are a lot of people, ex-Californians, who have, you know, who've exited, right? We call it the mass exodus of California. If you watch any news, you've seen that a lot of U-Hauls have driven out of California to take people to maybe a greener pasture. I don't know. I live in the desert, so there's not a lot of green out here. There's a lot of dirt. But with that, there's a lot of beauty. I've been in the high desert now for, I don't know, 12, 13 years. I'm not quite sure. It's been a while now. Let's see if I can get this lit. I probably should have trimmed the wicks, but I enjoy light. I don't know about you, right? I enjoy good light, natural light even more, right? I enjoy the sun. I definitely should have trimmed those down, but I don't like the darkness. In this state, there is a lot of darkness, for sure. But back to what I'm trying to say. I'm a typical guy. I can't multitask and do a million things at once, or even two things at once at that. So there we go. Look at, I've got some extra light now. Get us going. So let me kind of move my stuff out of the way. I enjoy light. I enjoy, more and more I'm enjoying tinkering with things. Let me start off with a couple verses if I could. I don't even know what this channel is supposed to be. I think at the end of it, it's supposed to be my love for the state and how I want to see God do a work, and I believe he will do a work in it. If I can give you the verse where there's a couple verses, but this has been the main verse that brought me to the high desert. Again, I've lived in California my whole life. I've moved to the high desert of California back, again, 12 years ago or so. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you, just to kind of give you, there we go. All right, so let's start with this verse. Psalms 37:3. It says this simply: trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness. It wasn't a desire in the beginning to move up to the high desert. I had family, my parents lived up there, me and my wife, when we started having children. Obviously, They want to, the grandparents want to see the grandchildren. And so we go up there, but you know, there was no draw or anything up there, but after a while, you know, things happen. I should say God moves, his spirit moves in ways. And I remember reading this verse and it just kind of sticking in my brain, my heart, you know what I mean? And I couldn't get it out, and I just started praying. What did this mean, Lord? What do you want me to take from this? Obviously, this Psalm of David has to do with David. Now, every time we read the Bible, right, we don't want to read ourselves into it. There's application, sure, but there's one interpretation, so we want to read in context. This is about King David and about, you know, where he's at in his life. And even the heading is something that the Lord just showed me here: security of those who trust in the Lord and the insecurity of the wicked, right? The more and more you hear about California, its politics, its ways, there's a lot of insecurity for wickedness. There's a lot of darkness in this place, and again, just like I said, I really enjoy light, like a lot. And if I can just kind of explain what the Lord was showing me, obviously the first thing we have here is trust in the Lord and do good. That's difficult at times, especially when there's legislation trying to be drawn that's against parents. I am a parent. Me and my wife have children. And to see legislation that's just wild, outrageous. As a brother of mine says, he says things are straight wickedness. It's hard to not have these urges to lash out, right? But it says to do good. Trust in the Lord and do good. And this is the main one that got me, that kind of just never I just kept, I don't know, pondering it. I'm trying to understand it. Dwell in the land. Again, we had no desire to move to the high desert. It didn't seem like there was a lot going on, nothing for us. The church we were at was, it was good. It was, you know, it was a good church, good people, but there was just this tugging. The Lord just kept, it wouldn't leave my mind, none of it. And yeah, sure enough, after the Lord kind of even spoke to my wife, because she was the main one who was, you know, like, yeah, we're not moving up to the high desert. There's no need to move to the high desert. I'm going to adjust this a little more to kind of get it back to, you know, I like this. This is our, when me and my wife got married, we went to Knott's Berry Farm, and this is one of the first things we got as a married couple. It says, Jesus loves you. I know you can't see it totally, but Jesus loves you, the Garcia. And we have a second one that has, you know, me, us, and our children, has a little symbol for that. But since that second one, we've added another child to my quiver, if you will. And so eventually we're going to get another one. And so this just, this speaks of God's faithfulness, right? I know you can't see it that great. Let me see if I can, there we go. Jesus loves you, the Garcias. That's been just our thing. This light's kind of gone out already. I had to change the wick and do all that. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. Dwell in the land, as that's something that's just, the Lord has just sustained us with, right? To dwell in the land. A lot of people have left California. A lot of good people, a lot of Christians have left California, and this is in no way trying to bash them and say that they were wrong, they should have stayed, but they fled. You know? They left. And the Lord's just continuing to do a work. Let me hold that thought for a second. All right, we're back. Had to check on something. You know, when you have a house full of kids, you hear crazy noises, and you gotta just make sure everything's all right. But like I was saying, yeah, people have left California. And there was that. I don't know if temptation is the right word, but you know, grass is greener on the other side type of mentality. That California was hopeless, lost cause. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth or anything and say that was their main thought, but yeah, for some it was like, yeah, I don't want to raise my kids here because they're crazy, they're progressive, they're left, whatever the case is. And yeah, it is. That's true. It's all of that. The policies that these people enacting, they want to live a sterile life. They don't want kids of their own, and so they're going to try to take your kids. I get that. That is, to hear that and to fully understand that, yeah, that's a threat. That's threatening. So I can see why people are leaving. But there's a lot of people still in California who are fighting, who want to fight, and they know the consequences. They know what they're up against. It's a daunting task. Some would say even hopeless, but we serve a God of hope. And that whole idea of dwelling in the land, and then after that it says cultivate faithfulness, to feed on his faithfulness, that he's going to sustain us through. Today is my daughter's birthday. She is 11 years old now. And all of my children, when it's their birthdays, I'm reminded of God's faithfulness. My desire is to see California won in the name of Christ. Now, for some Christians, that gets into a lot of theological stuff. Well, we're not of this world. I get that. At the same time, though, Jesus is clear in the Gospel of Matthew that he asks who is a faithful servant who's going to be found doing what his master has told him to do. And for me, I think what me and my family are called here to do is to be a light to this state. Our church is here, our church family is here, that God is doing the work in our area of the high desert, and he hasn't told us to pack up and move on. So we're here, and we are faithful. We are confident in his faithfulness, I should say. But we're here to fight. I want to give my kids a California that they can live in. I don't even know what that looks like. Like, there's so much back and forth and even internal fighting among Christians on how we should do things. I'm going to tell you right now, as we continue on in this channel, and you're going to hear my opinions, my thoughts on things. I don't know, maybe I'm a little more rough around the edges than others. Not that again, we serve a God of love, who shows love, who's loving 1,000,000%. But he is also a God who is holy and righteous, and is one day going to judge the wicked, and is one day going to hold us accountable for the things we didn't say. And there's some Christians who are okay with keeping their mouths shut, and in the name of tolerance. I want to be about truth. And the book of 1 John, it says, speak the truth in love. And so here we are, as we continue on. I don't know, probably a lot of these videos are going to just be me in the car and getting my thoughts out of something that's going on throughout the week, throughout the day, California type politics, California type issues for the most part. But also, family stuff, encouraging families, encouraging men, husbands, and all those. That's what I want to do. So I hope that this is something that's of benefit. I know there's millions of YouTube channels out there, but if I can even a little bit encourage even one person on this, I don't know, maybe it's worth it, right? Well, with all that being said, there's a phrase that I've been learning in Latin. I've been really enjoying reading some of the scriptures in Latin and Latin phrases from Christians in the past, and the one that's for kind of our family. It says this, and again, I probably pronounce it really. I'm gonna botch it, but it's okay. It's nisi domine frustras, and the simple interpretation is without God it's vain. That's taken from Psalms 127. And anything I'm trying to do apart from God, it's vain, it's useless, it's empty. You should just disregard all of it. But my desire is for God to save California, to make California golden again, that California would stay golden, for Jesus Christ, not for itself, not for any person or their pride or anything, but this is a great state with an abundant resource, a lot of resources, and God, I think He wants to do a work, and it takes a church. If the church could, if the people of God can come together, and we can do great things here. So, with that being said, my name is Jacob, I guess aka the High Desert Nomad, and hopefully you'll join me on this journey. We'll talk to you in the next one.